Black coaches are held to a higher standard than their white counterparts. It's as simple as that. Skip, if we go back and see, Skip, we need to do more research. I have 100 years of empirical data that says that black head coaches are not given the same opportunities. And when they get a job, Skip, what job did they give Tony Dungy? Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What job did they give Herm Edwards for his first job? The New York Jets. What job did they give Todd Bowles for his first job? The New York Jets. You see what they do, Skip Bayless? They give you a job where they know you can't succeed. And as soon as they give you that job and you don't succeed, what do? David Culley, they set the man up for failure. How are you going to win with the quarterback situation that they had? They traded DeAndre Hopkins the year before. They let J.J. Watt go. And so now the cupboards are bare. Come in. It's like a CEO, Skip. You give a black CEO, we're going to make you CEO of this company that's in bankruptcy. Well, if you don't lead us out of bankruptcy, well, we need to go in another direction because he didn't turn it around. Really? Let me tell you what they did in Houston, Texas. Bill O'Brien demoted Romeo Crennel and placed the linebacker coach, Mike Vrabel, in that position. So it would look better if Mike Vrabel was the DC. He got the job at Tennessee, and then he hired Romeo Crennel back as the DC after demoting him to the linebacker coach. You see how they do us, Skip? You see how they did that? Skip, people don't remember. They fired Tony Dungy after a 9-7 season. They fired Jim Caldwell after a 9-7 season. Hired Mike Patricia. I'm going to do one better, Skip. What do you think the odds are that a black head coach can say, nah, Jacksonville, we don't want to interview with you like Dan Quinn did? What black coach can do what Josh McDaniels did? Get the job and then resign from the job via fax. He'll never, ever be a head coaching candidate again in his life. Doug Marrone resigned from the Buffalo Bills as head coach and went and got the job at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Do you believe any black coach? Now, in the 100-year history, Skip, what they'll do, they'll point to Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is a 100-year situation. A black head coach got a job at a cornerstone franchise with an established quarterback already in place. That's not normally how it happens. And if you see, he rewarded that. He's never had a losing season, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, in 15 years. He's gone to 2 Super Bowls. He's won one of those Super Bowls. So for me, Skip, I'm not surprised because the data over the 100 years says this is how. They're expected to do more with less, and when they don't, well, he didn't get the job done. Who in the hell thought that David Culley was going to make the playoff with the Houston Texans? Everybody, by all indication, thought he did an unbelievable job, given the situation that was placed upon him, Skip. First of all, Skip, you didn't even want David Culley. He was after everybody else had possibly turned you down. You're like, well, you know what? We might as well go get the black guy, knowing that we're not only going to keep him unless he gets to the playoffs. We're not going to keep him. But at least he got a job with Shannon. You got to think, well, if you give me a job and you set me up for failure, what is that? Now, granted, it looks like, Skip, he got, 3 years left at about $17 million, so he's going to get some bread. At least he got that on his resume. Black coaching candidates don't get the opportunity, Skip, to pick and choose what job they want. They want to be a head coach. David Culley waited damn near his whole life for this opportunity. So even though he knew it wasn't ideal, he knew it wasn't the right situation, Skip. If I don't take this job, hell, another one might not come along. I'm in my 60s. I've waited 30, 40 years to be a head coach. So I can't pass this opportunity up. And so, Skip, it's just very, very disappointing. Steve Wilks. Skip, remember Steve Wilks? He got 1 year in Arizona. He got 1 year, boom, gone. With the quarterback situation that they had. The quarterback was so bad, he was a first-round draft pick. They got up off him the very next year because they drafted Kyler Murray. But they expected Steve Wilks to turn that situation around. Joe Judge. Skip, how the hell Joe Judge get a job and keep the job after the situation that he got? All I'm saying, Skip, I am not surprised by this because we see this if you look closely in society. Sports are a microcosm of society. People get it conflicted, Skip, because they say, well, you got black and whites from different backgrounds, different social, religion. It's for a common theme. They're trying to win a game. But the higher-ups, they're like, yeah, you good enough to play quarterback. You good enough to help us win. But I don't know about you being the face of our franchise. We just know. We've seen it over 100 years. Skip, It's a small sample size. It is an enormous sample size. You don't get a sample size larger than 100 years. And the 100-year history of the NFL and its hiring practices of minorities, not just blacks, of minorities, says this is a common theme, and I see it continuing for a very, very long time because you don't have black owners. Skip, it takes a very special person to branch outside and to make friends with someone or to be acquaintance with someone that doesn't look like them, that doesn't talk like them, that didn't have the same background as them. So when you got billionaires, most of them are white, especially in the NFL. Well, all of them are white in the NFL, with the exception of Shad Khan. He's a minority. Virginia McCaskey on the Bears. She's a minority. She's a female. But more times than not, we're comfortable with people, Skip, that looks like us, that talk like us, that come from very similar backgrounds as us. I'm not surprised by this. Troy Benson says something. Troy Benson is the number 2 guy in command. And for him to step out, I know Troy very well, played against Troy, know Troy well. For him to say what he said, it lets you know. He said there is a double standard. And I can no longer just sit here in my position and bite my tongue and pretend that it isn't. It is. Everybody knows it. But you know what, Skip? It ain't a damn thing they can do about it. They can say, we'll give you extra 2 first-round picks. We can give you, you know what? We'll make it a situation where you automatically be in the playoffs. And they're like, hell no, we're not going to allow you to tell us who we can and can't hire. Look at what Tony Dungy did when he had Peyton Manning. Look at what Jim Caldwell did when he had Peyton Manning. He took Matthew Stafford, went to the playoffs, went 9-7, and lost his job. Matt Patricia couldn't spell playoffs while he was in Detroit.